Archie, good morning. Thanks again for giving us a few minutes here. What was that like to see your son inducted into the Football Hall of Fame?
Well, thanks, guys, for having me this morning. That was a thrill. I was really honored that Peyton invited me to do that. I think a lot of all that was, he had to do that. He didn't, Keyshawn, it. There were other people in Peyton's journey of football that meant a lot to him. Especially in pro football, you start with Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts. There's not a more generous owner around, or one that's been better to a player than he's been to Peyton. Bill Polian, a Hall of Famer himself, who unfortunately couldn't be there, had an accident, drafted Peyton and put that Colts team together during the team of the decade back starting in the 2000s, and then Tony Dungy, who really solidified things there and got that bunch going. It meant so much to Peyton. Tony had a great impact on Peyton. I think personally, and just in leadership traits and so many things. So not to be long-winded here, there were other people that could have been doing that. So I appreciate him inviting me. It was a real thrill, and have all our family there to see that. It was so very special.
Archie, when you look back at Peyton's career, clearly a Hall of Fame career, but what's his legacy amongst the greats at the quarterback position?
Keyshawn, I think I saw something like that last night. Peyton did some things. So I had a very, I won't put his name, I let him say it first, but a very good pro quarterback himself say one time, Peyton played the position different than anyone else. And I think I know what he's talking about, and I think it makes me proud. I think what he's talking about there is his ability to handle the cerebral part of the game for coaches and a coordinator and a coaching staff to give him maybe some responsibility that other quarterbacks might not can handle during the course of a whole game, and the things he did at the line of scrimmage, some of the things they did as an offense that yes, other people did it, but maybe people didn't do it as well. So I think that was part of his legacy. But again, getting back to a father last night, after these things are over, everybody has a party. And I can't tell you how many teammates Peyton had there last night. And not just the Marvin Harrisons and Edgerrin James, and sure they were there, and Reggie and so forth, but offensive linemen that played for the Colts, some of them who didn't play but 2 years, 3 years. But same thing with some Denver guys. And Peyton wasn't in Denver but 4 years, but that wanted to be there and came long distances and there. So I think being a good teammate was one of his strong suits, and I'm proud of that.
Being his dad, clearly, and been around Peyton his entire career, starting with his youth. Now, tell me the truth, Archie. When did you know, as a kid, that this day could potentially come for Peyton?
Oh, I don't know if I thought about Hall of Fame. It was when Peyton started on the high school team when he was a sophomore, and some of my buddies start talking right then. Oh gosh, he's going to be a college. I said, shut up. You're not a college scout. You're not a coach. You don't know anything. So I didn't want to kind of go there. And, he still got years. But his junior year, he grew. So he's about 6'4". He's a high school quarterback. And his motion was good, and the ball came out good, and that's when it was different than it is now when they start, recruiting high school players so early. But it really wasn't until his junior year, that the colleges kind of started coming around and so forth. So at that point, I did think he could play college football. I thought he could play college football, and he made a great decision to go to Tennessee. That was the right place for him. Played with great players and played with good coaches who brought him along. Phil Fulmer was a great coach for Peyton, but David Cutcliffe, coordinator, outstanding quarterback coach. He did so much for Peyton. So maybe about Peyton's junior year there too. His sophomore year, he played some good, solid football, and they won. But his junior year, he turned it up a notch, and so I thought at that point, at least he's going to get a chance at pro football. Now, you never know how that's going to go, and you know better than anyone what the transition is. Huge, huge transition. I don't care if you're playing at Tennessee or Southern Cal or Ohio State, Alabama, whatever. Still, it's a jump. It's a faster game, and he got thrown to the wolves. He got picked high. He got thrown to the wolves, but it was tough. As I mentioned in my little deal last night, I would talk to him on Monday mornings, and he'd say, "Dad, nobody is open. Nobody is open." And Keith, you know what we're talking about. They're open. But in that league, you're just open for a split second there. You got to fit it. And he had to adjust to that. And it was really in his second year when he was able to do that.
Now, I know you've got to run here, but I'd be remiss if I don't ask you. A dad is proud when he gets one son in the Hall of Fame. You have potential for two. When do we expect to see Eli get his gold jacket?
I'm not a voter. I'm a daddy. I'm gonna vote for him. That's all. I give him my support. We're proud of Eli. He's a different kind of guy and played in a different situation. Keyshawn knows what that's about, playing in New York and dealing with that media, which Eli handled it. I think he had the disposition to deal with that. They had some good teams, did some good things. I think it was unfortunate for Eli. At the end of his career, their team wasn't as good. They had a hard time running the ball his last 5 years, which really, affects protection and affects a lot of things in your offense. But that's football. That's the way it is. So he's very, very glad that I think he's glad he stopped when he did, and he's very proud to have played all 16 of his years for the New York Giants. He loves the Giants.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.